Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PLUSH Robot Podcast. My name is Zack, and let's go ahead and KO this thing. So before we get into the tales of the Skinwalker Ranch, I just wanted to go over a little bit of a blurb about last night's event, which was the Oscars, and two things that made me extraordinarily happy were Joaquin Phoenix winning Best Actor for Joker. That man deserves every bit of that award possible because Joker was just such a phenomenal film. Even as a Batman fan, I could not believe how just... wow. It's one hell of a movie. And the other one being that Parasite winning Best Picture, which... that is just crazy to me because not only did an international film win Best International Film, but it also won Best Picture too. And I've been seeing that movie circulated on, my Facebook and my Twitter and everything. And I've been meaning to see it for a while, but, once something comes up and it's Best Picture, I immediately have to check it out. Whether it's, the King's Speech or Spotlight or Moonlight or Green Book. That was a little bit debatable. I saw that. It wasn't really necessarily my favorite, but the Academy is going to do what the Academy does, and I felt like I haven't seen, like I said, I haven't seen Parasite yet, but I definitely need to. But anyway, we're now going to delve into what the Skinwalker Ranch is. Have some interesting tidbits on my phone about it. So for starters, Skinwalker Ranch, also called Sherman Ranch or UFO Ranch, is a large property near the small town of Ballard, Utah that is almost 500 acres in size. Jesus. It borders the Ute Indian Reservation, and the Utes will not enter the area known as Skinwalker Ranch because they believe it is fertile territory for skinwalkers. Now, upon doing some research about what a skinwalker is, they are basically a creature brought on from Navajo legend, where it is a creature where it can take the identity of any animal at will and actually can take the identity of any person or someone The Utes will not enter the known because I already read that part. The Utes take this very seriously. They think the Skinwalkers are powerful spirits that are here because of a curse that was put on them generations ago by the Navajos, and the center of the whole legend is this ranch. The Utes say the ranch is the path of the Skinwalker. Tribe members are strictly forbidden from setting foot on the property. It's been that way for a long time. And then somehow, when you flash forward to the 1950s, it became a hot spot for UFO activity. And let's see, in 1994, the Skinwalker Ranch became well known when Terry and Gwen Sherman and their children purchased the property only to be driven from the home after 2 years of increasingly terrifying paranormal events, which is what we also talked about, was a hodgepodge of UFO activity and paranormal activity. And let's see, from their account, when the family moved in, they found deadbolts on the doors and windows that puzzled them. Some of the doors and windows had deadbolts on both the inside and outside. Alrighty. They also found large chains outside that looked like they may be for the purpose of restraining a heavy animal. Oh my goodness. Heavy animal. You're not going to use those chains for cows, that's for sure. That's going to be something else. I don't want to know, but at the same time, I also want to. While they lived on the ranch, the family experienced multiple cattle mutilations, crop circles, hearing voices calling from nowhere, inanimate objects moving before their eyes, UFOs, and seeing strange birds and other animals on the property. Like I said last time on the Spooky Cast, I was like, oh my goodness, this whole property is just a safe haven for every spooky, supernatural, cursed cryptid out there. One instance, the family saw a wolf attacking one of their cattle. They shot the wolf multiple times with a handgun, and the wolf did not react to the gunshots at all. At that point, that's going to be a werewolf. Listen, I've seen Wolfman. I've seen, all those werewolf movies. You got to be using silver for that. I'm just saying. Did not react to the gunshots at all. Appeared unharmed while it continued to attack the cattle. Eventually, after being shot 6 times, the wolf ran off and it eventually vanished. I think he just got pissed off from all those bullets. It's just like, fine, I'll leave, god damn it. Another instance, the family saw their field lit up as if by football stadium lights. They saw a UFO larger than 2 football fields and apparent alien figures over 7 feet tall. Oh my god. 2 years, the family lost 20% of their herd to cattle mutilation. In 1996, the family vacated their home. Listen, I would have gotten out of there within a matter of days if that were happening. Like, not 2 years. Like, if that's happening, like, within a week, a couple months, I'm moving somewhere else. Later in 1996, billionaire Robert Bigelow, he owns Budget Suites, bought the ranch for $200,000 and made it the home of a paranormal research group, the National Institute for the Discovery of Science, which operated until 2004. The organization is later replaced by the Bigelow Aerospace Advanced Space Studies. In 2007, a secret unclassified government program, the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, began investigating UFOs. Program had a $22 million budget, and Robert Bigelow received much of that money. Bigelow's findings were that the UFO seen in the area were not consistent with current military aircrafts. 2013. Yeah, I've heard of the Skinwalker Ranch movie. Then we have the trailer for it. And afterwards, a public road that had gone through the property was closed. The road is now guarded. Very interesting. Now, I know that seems like very brief and, as best as I can to be informative about it, but it is a little interesting phenomena of this whole ranch being like once this area, once thought to be cursed by skinwalkers, and then later on being a hodgepodge of all this UFO and paranormal activity. It is just, like I said, that area, most likely, I definitely believe it to be cursed. Because there is no way you could just be like, oh, it's just like any other Monday. It's like, oh yeah, spooky stuff. Oh, lights happening in the sky. Oh, cows getting murdered. Oh, wolves that can just take bullets and not be affected, and they just go ahead and leave once they get all pissed off. I don't know. All right, and delving more into what skinwalkers are, or more skinwalker facts from this Thought Catalog article, which I was also reading stuff off from Thought Catalog when we were talking about Skinwalker Ranch. Here are some facts. So we probably already talked about them most. With all their advantages, it is said that you can kill a skinwalker if you call them by their true human name. Skinwalkers are most commonly encountered near native reservations, though they have been seen all over the United States. Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, blah, 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 blah. Yes, we read about that. Some people believe the Rake, which the Rake is a creepypasta tale about this skin-clad creature with these long, sharp knife-like tendons and these sharp teeth and eyes and everything. And there's a link to a YouTube video. Real Skinwalker caught on tape. I'm gonna view this. If there's any sound to this. Unexplained mysteries. All right.
In many Native American legends, a skinwalker is a person with a supernatural.
Well, I'm skipping a little bit to see what's going on.
A skinwalker may use the humanoid
Oh, Jesus! Oh man, so what I'm looking at is this deer cam picture, which it says, when was this captured? August 15th, 2009 at 8:25 p.m., 72 degrees. Oh my god, that is the freakiest thing I've ever seen in my life. I know, and people are probably looking at this like, oh, but Zach, that could be a deer or a wolf or something. But no, that whatever this thing I'm looking at from this video, this one photo, oh my god, that looks legitimate. Almost, that is so freaky looking. You know, not necessarily quite like the rake, but oh my god, that is crazy. Woo. I'm actually shaking from that photo, I'm not gonna lie. Oh my goodness. Ugh. And in this same article from Thought Catalog, there are actually a couple of Skinwalker encounters, which I'm going to read out loud. My uncle and cousin saw a large deer on the side of the road. When they got closer, it hopped over the fence like a bipedal man. One time driving back from Gallup, my dad saw an old Navajo woman walking on the side of the road, and when he slowed to offer her a ride, she took off into the plains quickly with inhumane speed. Holy. Oh, that is... I would have driven off right there. Whew. Once, when I was a kid, my family was at my aunt's house, which is in a rural, secluded area, when we were toyed with by a few entities. They would make animal noises, and when we looked to the direction from which the noises were coming from, they would turn a flashlight on and off. The noises would come from all directions in increasingly shorter succession. Usually when I'm there, on the reservation visiting, alone late at night, I will feel the presence of evil and dread. Panic and paranoia will wash over me, and as sudden as it comes, it will leave. So we have a deer hopping over like he's some dude on the run from a Grand Theft Auto chase, and then this old Navajo woman, probably that same Skinwalker, I don't know, could have been a different one, just taking off into the plains, running faster than Sonic the Hedgehog. Jesus Christ. And then this one, it moved like a toy rocking horse. My uncle is Mexican and Native American. This happened in the Mojave Desert in Southern California. He was driving around with his girlfriend late at night, and they saw something that looked like a huge black dog on the side of the road. He slowed down and the dog began crossing the road. Instead of walking like a normal dog would, this thing moved like a toy rocking horse. I got the chills just thinking about that image. Oh, like a toy rocking horse. He said it stopped in the middle of the road and stared right at them, and its eyes had a red glow. My uncle is the most badass person I know, and it scared the crap out of them. I would too. Jesus, I'm not going to risk, I'm going to leave that alone because I don't want to risk, run that thing over. But, okay, I got to read one more. They ran away on their back legs. Okay, I gotta read this one. So this happened about 12 years ago. My family owns a farm in the heart of an Indian reservation. One winter, I was home for Christmas taking care of the farm while my parents were away Christmas shopping. As I was home by myself, way late in the night, I hear all our cows freaking out. I knew it had to be the wild dogs that are rampant in the area, so I throw on some boots, grab a shotgun, load it up, and head out into the field. This was a perfect scenario for a horror movie. It was cloudy, but there was a full moon, and it was breaking through the clouds just right to light up all the snow. I ran out into the middle of the field, and just in time, I see two dogs. They were standing up facing each other and fighting. I think, perfect 2 for 1. So I pump a shell into the chamber of Mr. 12 gauge, and then it happened. The two dogs heard the rack, they both stopped, looked over at me, and ran away on their back legs. Oh, yo, I would be flipping my doo doo at that point. I froze, and every ghost story about skinwalkers and all the other native legends I grew up with flew through my mind. Keep in mind, I am a white guy, and up until then, these were just all boogeyman stories the native kids like to tell to scare us. That night, they became real to me. Yeah, no, I'm like I said, not even gonna try. I'm just gonna yeet myself back to the house and just. I wouldn't want to mess with any of that whatsoever. But speaking of spooky stuff, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about one of the worst horror movies I have ever seen in my life. So, several Halloweens ago, while both my mom and dad were at a Halloween party for my dad's work, I had Netflix on, and my little brother Kyle was watching it with me while we were eating our Halloween candy and just having the time of our lives. And we found some classics on there. Well, before Netflix, took down some stuff. But on that Halloween, they had some really good stuff. Like, I remember watching, they had the original 1920s Nosferatu on there, which was just, that movie is still, a piece of art to watch to this day. And even the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which I watched, which my little brother kept calling it stupid, but he's younger than I am and not really that exposed to film or art, but whatever, let him enjoy what he likes to enjoy. But we found this one movie that was entitled The Houses October Built. Oh my God. I need to know the thought process behind this movie. I need to find out who greenlit this. I need to find out who thought that this was okay to have out there. Because being a horror fan, and also being a big fan of the found footage subgenre of horror, this movie fails at all of that. So what this movie is, basically, it's a documentary crew going around looking for the most extreme haunted houses across America, and they're trying to go after this one haunted house called the Blue Skeleton, which is the most extreme, where they torture you and do all this stuff to you, and they're just trying to go after this. But in the meantime, they're being targeted by like these people, I guess, who work for the Blue Skeleton. And yeah. Oh my God. So this movie has some really, oh my God, when I saw this movie, it was just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm actually searching through YouTube to look through one scene. There's actually one scene where one of the actors, quote unquote, from, I guess from the Blue Skeleton, it's like this porcelain doll looking girl. She's got her makeup done. She looks like a cracked porcelain doll. She literally comes on their bus, sits down, and is looking creepy, lets out this scream, and then it cuts to black, and then nothing happens. She's just looking around, and then she leaves the bus. I swear to God. Oh, here it is. The house is October built. Porcelain RV scene. So, okay, yep, they're getting on the bus. There she is. Yeah, she looks like a porcelain doll.
Mikey, what's going on?
I don't know. She's kind of followed me into here.
She just kind of followed me in here.
Something happened to your car?
Can you call somebody or something?
No, for real, is there anywhere we can take you?
Oh my. She literally is just making these noises. That's it. What was that? She's like, ah. I forgot about that part. Yeah, and then she leaves the bus. What is that? Oh, man. There are some other ones, too, where I think they were sitting around a campfire, and there was another actor, because this happens before, she comes on. And then I think, I don't know, this one guy had this, like, burnt face kind of thing going for him, and was wearing, like, this boiler suit or whatever. It looked like a boiler suit. And then I forget what it was, but I don't know. One of the guys was just like, ha ha ha, blah, blah, blah. This seems like blah, 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 backwood, or something like that. And then the guy's just like, what the fuck do you mean, backwood? And then it just gets silent. I'm just like, what? Oh, man. And there's one line in it. I think they get harassed by this clown-looking dude. And, he's just kind of egging him on. And then, the guy's like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't want any trouble, blah, 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 blah. And then the clown dude is just like, who you think you talking to? I'm a clown, boy. When I heard that line, I died laughing. I was like, oh my God. The problem with this movie is just that it tries to present itself as a found footage movie, but it has the same problem as the late and great George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead, which, if you've seen that movie, that was when he tried to experiment with found footage with one of his zombie movies. The problem with that is just if you're doing a found footage movie, like, it has to be convincing. Like, even if you're shooting on, like, a camera that's like at 60 frames per second, like a digital camera, but this one looks like it was actually shot on a normal, like, nice looking, like, digital film camera. And it's the same problem with Diary of the Dead. It's that George Romero, as great of a director he is, he kind of missed the mark on what found footage is. It was like every shot of, if you look at Diary of the Dead, is neatly done. It's lit up perfectly, but when you look at films like Blair Witch Project, or even the first couple, the first three Paranormal Activity movies, like, it's all done on, like, home video cameras, and even with Paranormal Activity 3, like, VHS cameras, and like, even with VHS 1 and 2, those are movies which, if you want to ever do found footage, like, I would use those movies as an example, and then also look at internet series like Marble Hornets or Tribe 12, or even Alan Tutorial or Daisy Brown, because you want it to be convincing and also sort of kind of amateurish, because you want it to be, your found footage to be as real as possible. Like, this is actual real footage. But when it comes to movies like this, like with The Houses October Built, like, it has the same problem. It's neatly shot, everything's well lit up, and, the acting is just kind of, like, very so-so and really not believable. And, there are moments in it where I just found it to be absolutely hilarious. And then there's another scene. There's a clown that they had to go visit, because there's I think because they had to go, they were getting really deep into finding the blue skeleton, and they were like, I think they got approached by some other people. They're just like, oh yeah, you have to go talk to Mr. Giggles. And then they go to this bar, and there's this guy in a clown mask and a clown suit, and he's dancing around. And they're all scared. And then the guy's like, are you Mr. Giggles? And then he's like, and I swear to God, Mr. Giggles is my favorite part of that movie, because oh my goodness. But I guess apparently they made a sequel to Houses October Built, which I'm like, I saw the movie like years ago, and you know, spoiler alert for anyone who is planning to see this movie. In the end, they go to the Blue Skeleton, and they all end up being buried alive. And then there's a sequel, and I'm like, wait a minute, how is this? What? Did we really need to dive into more of the mythos of the houses October built? Because I don't know how you come back from being buried alive, but okay then. Oh, no. You know what? I get a thrill out of seeing just bad horror movies like that. You gotta watch them once in a while. You gotta get some entertainment out of it. Because if you can enjoy the good, you can also enjoy the bad as well. But also, that is going to do it for this episode of the Plush Robot Podcast. Be sure to send any questions or comments you have at plushrobotpodcast@gmail.com. You can also follow me on my personal Twitter at SpaceKaijuZack. And also go ahead and subscribe to the Plush Robot YouTube channel because we do upload these right onto YouTube. And alright, that's going to do it for tonight, guys. Until next time, this is Zack, signing out. Peace.